Hey y'all, check out my keyboard, my key purse, right? Wow! So this is the board we're going to be building today. This is going to be an in-stock drop. You can buy it from Click Clack. There's going to be 4 colors, 2 different types of PCBs depending on how many keys you want. So it's going to mainly be the bottom layout. So if you want 6.25 with split spacebar, or if you want just 7U. Can you guys guess what color I have? There's 4 colors. There's anodized red, anodized green, E-white, and E-pink. Pink, E-white, pink. Okay, well, I got green. So first off, packaging is really interesting. So it uses these buttons on the 2 sides. So it goes both ways. You can open it from the top. You can open it from the bottom, however you want. And then you actually slide this part off. Boop. And then using the handle, you can then pull this out. So this is what we're working with. So right off the bat, you have this case with the PCB and the plate and the foam. Everything's inside of it. Looks like there's this manual. Here's what I was talking about earlier with the 2 different PCB layouts. So you have the 63 keys, which is 6.25U spacebar, but you can do a split spacebar. So if you look at it, it has 3 keys. Or you could do the 60 key, which is just a standard 7U right there. Looks like they give you the tools needed to assemble the case. I like how these keyboard kits are starting to include tools for everything. So here's a daughter board. Here's all the gaskets. Package for product freshness. Don't eat these, kids. Not safe. But here's the anodized green that I have. Whoa, Valentine. Has the badge up there. So I guess here you can see where the daughter board would go. USB port. Here's the side. Check out that side. Do you see this thick lead right here? Here's the back. USB port. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's the same design as the case. So you got this leather strap. Neat, right? It's almost like a purse or like a fancy bag. Right hand type C, right side USB port. So here's the front. So right off the bat, this thing reminds me of like a purse or like a fancy handbag. This part is really cool. I feel like you never really see a ledge like this. This screen is really, really pretty, I would say. So the red is the same way. So it has the green accent, but then the black mid-piece. For the E-white and the E-pink though, the entire thing is like the color. So it's all pink or all white. But for the anodized green and red, you do have these 2 accent pieces. And then this one is the black solid base. But look how cute. Like, you want to see my keyboard? So non-adhesive gasket socks. But here we have PCB. So we have the PC plate right here. I think standard it comes with PC. It comes with foam, all the foams that you need. So pretty standard plate. Pretty standard. Here is the PCB. So it looks like I have the 7U, so the 60 key. So there is a lot of flex cuts. Skeleton PCB. The gasket points are on the PCB instead of the plate. So you can see there's 4 on the bottom, 4 up top. So unfortunately with this one, it only comes with the flex cuts. So I'm going to try different builds to see how it sounds with the foam, without the foam, etc. So you can see the different configurations. The only options you have for PCB is changing the bottom spacebar. I'm guessing they're going for a very bouncy, flexy type of feel. So you have plate foam, you have the case foam, and then the PE foam. So as for pricing, starting out, this is $359 for the anodized, and then for the E-coating, so for E-white and E-pink, it's $373. Default comes with PC plate, and then you can pick which PCB you would like. Oh, one thing I didn't point out is that looks like there's a LED indicator right here. I'm actually a big fan of these like abnormal indicators using the handy dandy tools that they provided us. Let's see how we disassemble this. Okay, so there's 2 screws that you can take off right here. How do I remove this part? Okay, so it looks like you take these 2 off. So then this should come off, right? Oh, okay. Interesting. So this handle piece, instead of just for decoration, is actually part of assembling the case. So these 2 go in right here. It holds the handle and it holds this piece in here. So this is like the compartment. So this is a separate piece on its own. And then you take it out like this. And here are the screws for you to then take off this piece. So it hides it well because technically it only looks like there's 2 screws. So this comes off. This screw right here is to hold this badge in place. These 2 are what holds it to the case itself, or to the mid piece. You have the 2 screws right here that are for the LED diffuser. Here you have the daughter board. It even has its own gaskets to keep it in place rather than using screws. So that's interesting. I've actually never seen anything like that before. But this is the case like deconstructed. You have the handle screws that keep this cover onto this accent piece that attaches to the mid piece. And then you also have a bottom piece that attaches to the mid piece. The bottom piece detaches, and I'm guessing that's so you can put the PCB actually through right here. But here you can see where the gaskets go on the PCB. So you see like the 4 cubbies. So it aligns with this. And then obviously with the gaskets on the PCB, it should not move. So basically, when you're assembling this board, this bottom piece, so you still do slide it in, the bottom. And then once you have it ready to go, you take this and you would screw it on right here to secure it into place. So you see how this part, you see the gaskets, but there are no gaps. Because this middle part, or this accent part, compresses these gasket points, right? So this is actually 2 pieces. So you have this main piece, and then you have a separate piece right here. So these top gaskets are compressed and held into place. However, these bottom ones are not. So these bottom ones, you see how there's nothing holding it here? Because while the top gaskets are being compressed and held into place, the bottom ones are technically not as compressed. So really, really interesting design. Daughter board, also really interesting. The LED indicators are already on it, rather than having a separate LED thing. The daughter board functions as the LED indicator. So first off, I got desk mat pre-orders from Melodica. I ordered a bunch of these mini mats. These are actually like mini, but these are Melodica's mini maps. These are the napping kitties. I was sent these. These are Bolsa Supply's upcoming new leather mini mats. This color is going to be the first round. This one may be second, third round, but I'm just showing you guys these 2. I'm also going to be using these special switches that were sent to me. They are the Diamond Avalon switches. So this is what we're going to be using. I do have an affiliate link if you guys are interested in buying it. So there's like a regular, and then these are the diamond. They kind of look like Minecraft. I think that's what most people have been comparing them to. The housing is a blended nylon. It uses a palm stem. It's interesting because the stem is circular. The leg and then the rail are actually 2 separate pieces. And then it doesn't make any contact with the bottom housing at all. In fact, the stem only makes contact with the top housing. So you actually lube the top housing. These are a new type of switch that have come out. I'm going to be using these switches for the board tonight. Okay, so I actually think that despite all the flex cuts and all the hate flex cuts gets, this with no foam, I think sounds pretty good. Typing on it, very fun actually. Very, very fun. The two pieces that keep the board from like shifting is very tight. So it feels firm, but it's still bouncy. It feels very stable, but it's also like a very bouncy feeling, especially on the alphas, right? The edges are definitely a lot more stiff, but the middle feels like very fun to type on. Does that kind of make sense? This was very fun to type on. This is going to be an in-stock drop. It's going to be dropping soon. The board itself, really, really cool to build. I mean, I could see like people being like, oh my god, it's like so complicated. But I mean, it's not a cookie cutter build. Thank you, Click Clack, for reaching out to me and asking me to build it. This is going to be an in-stock drop, but if you're interested, the in-stock is ready to go. I don't know when they plan on launching it. I'd recommend joining their Discord or following their Instagram. Overall, my thoughts on this board is I actually really liked it. I think it's a very novelty board, but it's like a novelty board that I think was done right. Pleasantly surprised by the sound. I will say it was kind of a complicated build, but if you take it slowly and then you just like realize how it's assembled, it's actually like pretty cleverly assembled. I don't think the PCB was like a hindrance in any way. I definitely think this is more of like a statement type of keyboard. Leather strap, I could see this getting like gross over time, but I mean, I just won't touch it. I should stop touching it. This is like me being very nitpicky, but it's like this back piece is kind of a fingerprint magnet. I mean, I just have to wipe it down. But it is a very nice screen, for sure. Typing feel, alphas are poppy. I would say it still feels pretty firm, all things considered. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I think this is definitely what I would think when you say like novelty board, but it was done right. And yeah, that's the board. Thanks for watching, everyone.